Welcome back, dear friends. Kits are finished, Chronological Engine has gone, been dispatched, workshop is tidy. What to do? I think I'll have a nice little chat about greenwashing, something I've been giving quite a lot of thought to recently whilst walking the dog. Why not? This could well be the most boring video I have ever made. In fact, I recommend you probably find something better to watch now rather than enduring any more of it. Anywho, it's always a good idea for manufacturers and designers of products to continue to make them more environmentally friendly. Use less energy, use more recyclable materials to make them from, use less energy hungry manufacturing techniques. There's so many ways that you can do it, and that's a good thing. That's to be lauded and applauded. However, what really gets my goat is greenwashing. That's when a company thinks, right, we want to attract more people. How can we do it? Well, let's go for the environmental angle. Let's try and make out that our product uses far less energy, causes absolutely no damage or harm to the environment, etc., etc. But the reason they do that is to promote sales, advertising, publicity, but also they then cut corners and save themselves a fortune in manufacturing costs, and consequently the quality of their product really goes downhill. Something dreadful. Now, I bring this to your attention because we recently purchased a new dishwasher. In fact, it was several months ago, but I've been thinking about this for ages, like you do. And it's a Bosch dishwasher. The previous one we had was a lovely Classics. Oh, I even remember its name. Oh, the times we shared. Classics with two X's on the end. Mid-range Bosch dishwasher. Brilliant. 15 years it lasted, man and boy. And it had a few little problems. Middle-age crisis, if you like. About 8 or 9 years in, the water stopped draining. Would not drain at all, so you know it's useless. I looked it up as you do on the interweb, and a very kind gentleman said what you need to do is to angle it on its left hand side and hit it a few times. I thought, yeah, right, really. I thought nothing ventured, nothing gained, so I did studiously pull it out of its socket enclosure thing in the kitchen, turn it on its side, hit it a few times. Would you believe it? It worked. It worked for another 6 years, because what he suggested was that the float, the water level sensor float, in hard water areas can get furred up and stuck, and then the dishwasher doesn't know what it's doing, how much water, so it just sort of shuts down. As it got a little bit older, the soap dispenser stopped dispensing soap. That's okay. You make allowances for elderly machines. So, you know, half an hour after I started each wash, drop the soap in. Fine, no problem. But then finally, and sadly, inevitably, the heating element burnt out. So without being able to heat the water in it, it was absolutely useless, and nothing else would work because it was all waiting for the water to heat up. It was going to cost well over £100 to get a new one. Just wasn't worth it. So very sadly, bade farewell to it. And had a look and got an equivalent. Well, Bosch is still considered. I know I'm going to get people saying all sorts of things in the comments. But from personal experience, till this point, I've always found Bosch to be very good. And if you look at reviews, they are generally very good as dishwashers. So I got a new one, a middle of the range one. Can't remember what it's called. Can't be bothered to go and have a look. And I thought, well, this looks great. Okay, it's got some extra features and some oddities about it that I will come on to shortly. And loaded it all up, thought this is great, lovely, switched it on, and it didn't wash properly. I thought, what is going on here? I did a few washes, because that's my job, by the way. Well, one of my jobs. I'm very lucky to have these jobs. Take the dog for a walk, and do some towel washing, and get on with all sorts of exciting things in here. And then usually around lunchtime I'll fill the dishwasher and you know, sort all that out so it's ready for when everyone gets home. But it didn't. It wouldn't clean things properly. There's a little gritty deposits and streaky lines on them, and it wouldn't get rid of crispy bits. Oh, it's useless. I really started thinking, why? Bosch are meant to be good. How can you make hundreds of different models of dishwasher for years, decades, and then get it so wrong? That's when greenwashing entered my mind, because I noticed there wasn't a sprayer in the top. Practically every dishwasher I've ever seen up until this point, you have two trays in, or two drawers, and there's a rotating sprayer underneath that sprays upwards, so it cleans all the bottom things and some of it goes past. You have a sprayer that sprays upwards under the centre, the top upper drawer that sprays up and then drops back down over the lower drawer. And you have a sprayer in the top that sprays downwards over the top drawer, if that's not too confusing. And it works brilliantly. But I noticed there wasn't a top sprayer in this. And I thought, well, that's odd. And I had a look underneath and saw that the inside, the top of the stainless steel enclosure, the inside of the dishwasher, had a sort of curve shape. And I thought, well, perhaps there's a hole in the middle of the upper drawer where some of the water from the middle sprayer can shoot up, hit against the inside of the roof lid, and then come down there. Because obviously you need some sort of water passing over all of the cutlery, crockery, glasses and everything else in the top shelf to rinse the outsides. But no. Then it dawned on me what they'd done. They'd greenwashed it. What they'd done is if you've got a powerful pump, because dishwashers need powerful pumps, and you take a third of its water outlet needed away, you reduce the power by a third less electricity. Also, the pump motor can be weaker, so far less copper, a third less copper I would assume, in all the windings. So you've made a huge saving. Brilliant. You can put that on the specifications, you can move your product up into one of the higher or more efficient energy categories. You can publicise it, absolutely fantastic. One of the part of the publicity or selling points of this was it's quiet, it's really quiet. And that's because the pump is so much quieter. That was always the noisy bit, so there's less water spraying round. It's awful. That's so dishonest. So what it means is that things on the bottom deck, the bottom tray drawer, they're washed fairly well, but I think they have lowered the pressure generally. Things on the upper drawer, they're covered in crap on the outside because some of the water does get past them and falls back down, and it's got lots and lots of dissolved food and bits of food in it, and they basically stick to the outsides of all the glasses, everything else on the top shelf. And mugs, ceramic mugs, they generally, by the way they're manufactured, have a slight dip in their base, so they're all full of this horrible gritty substance that people always complain they find in their dishwashers as they're going wrong, or the filters are blocked or something. So that's really frustrating, because I, as you know, like efficiency. I can't believe I'm showing you this, but that's where I start, because I found the pudding bowls go really nicely in there, mugs go nice on the side, and you can get a couple of wine glasses in if you need to, without taking up too much room, which is nice though, because there's not room for them to stand up. Now in the past I would have managed to get even more stuff in every available space, and then I'd put things like these big spatulas and things on top, and the water running down would clean them, but I can't anymore. I've got to position them, bang my head, carefully so that water can spray up from below. I don't even know whether that's going to work. So you've got to leave loads of gaps, and if I wanted the sides of all these things really clean, properly clean, I'd have to take two of these glasses out and move them all apart. But I want to show you what it's like. So that's the top deck. It's not even enough to have Ziggy doing her pre-wash. It still doesn't clean them properly, bless her. Quite often she ends up with gravy and things on her head because she's stuffed it underneath while I'm filling the top one. If you want to see an absolute desperate dog, watch what happens, because she knows that once I push this in, I'm going to put the soap in and then shut the door, so she is going to be absolutely desperate to hoover up all that. Oh Zig, that's it. Thank you, Ziggy. So So that's awful. It means I cannot fit everything in one wash, one sitting. I now have to leave about a third of the load, funnily enough a third again, that I would normally wash to the next day, and then every few days have to do 2 washes in one day. So the whole thing defeats itself, and I've ended up with a rubbish product just simply because they've tried to make it out that they love the environment. Now we come on to the controls. To my mind, as a trained industrial designer and engineer, or product designer as they call them these days, the controls of something should be obvious. They should be designed in such a way that you just instinctively, intuitively know that they make sense from how to use them. So it's inexcusable, especially on a dishwasher, for pity's sake, to have such complicated ones. I mean, there are pages about all this, what the symbols mean and all that. Here is the hideous thing. So you switch it on by pressing a button. All the LEDs and indicators are red. Now red to me always signifies, look at this. I've got no guilt at all. Keeps the plug hole clean, but the people, the bloody family we got her from when she was a puppy, they said there's not even any point in trying to train them not to jump up. It's impossible. They are motivated so much by food. Zig, enough. So you switch the on button. Now this is digital. The old one used to be a click one, so it's less likely to go wrong. All this is digital, so heaven only knows what. You've got eco, which is the one, it's sort of the default one, and then you've got auto, and you have to move this along by pressing this each time. And because this is so rubbish, we always have to use intensive. Intensive would have been normal on the old machine. Eco would have been, oh, let's just give it a quick extra rinse of water. It's absolutely ridiculous. That one's sort of like, yes, I care about the planet, I want to look after it and to look after the world. The intensive is, I want to destroy the planet and the environment and the ecology, and I hate everything to do with nature. Although if you want it washed, that's what you have to press. And then look, you've got a sun. And that's why I have to keep the instruction book nearby, because I can't remember what they mean at all. It doesn't say it. And then you've got no indication of how long's left for the wash to take. It doesn't tell you that, because I suppose I was thinking about it, and each 7-segment display obviously has 7 LEDs. All this has is it lights that one up, and then that one, and then that one. So along with saving money with red LEDs, they've also saved it by not having 7-segment ones, to save power, of course. It may only be a few milliwatts or milliamps or whatever, but once you go down that road, remote start, I'll come on to that in a minute, it's just unbelievable. Half load, half load, it can't cope with a normal load. Machine care, I think that's where you sit down with it in a nice quiet room and you say, I know you're not very good at what you do, but I appreciate that you try as hard as you can. And then you've got start. And then that light comes on. Now, that's, to me, they're just warning lights. And why they didn't have separate ones, why this blurs red, it's not attractive. It doesn't work visually, aesthetically, or functionally. It just looks messy. Is that the dishwasher? Could you start washing the dishes, please? Anyway, what was I saying? Auto start. Now, when you destroy the functionality of a product, such as Bosch have done with the Series 2, you need to add a little tidbit here and there to try and continue to encourage people that they would like to own one. And so they've put Bluetooth on it, so, or the Internet of Things or something. What it means is you can switch it on, start it up with your phone. Now, I walk the dog twice a day, every day of the week, and I have lots of time during that time to try and work out under what circumstances could you possibly want to start your dishwasher with a phone. I mean, if your phone could fill the dishwasher, or the dishwasher could fill itself while you're out shopping or at work or something, fantastic. Fill the dishwasher and it fills it and starts up and it's all ready for when you come home. Why Wow, please tell me in the comments this is a proper use for the comments. I can't think of any reason other than the fact that you're a complete moron who likes to show off to your friends about gadgets. Look, I can sit here at the dining table chatting to you, and look, if I press this, look, the dishwasher and the kitchen started. Oh, how terribly. Why though? Other than adding a load more electronics, which is cheap, that's the whole thing. They can add that gimmick for very little cost. Ironically, funny thing is that I looked at the reviews for this and they were generally pretty good, sort of 4.8 stars out of 5. And the only low ones, because you always look at the 1s and 2s, said, I can't connect it to my phone. My phone won't start the dishwasher. The Bluetooth doesn't. I thought, you deserve to have it not working if that's what motivates you to buy a dishwasher. It's a couple of hours later, just got back from taking the dog for a walk, and all the lights have gone out. Now, I don't know whether something's gone wrong or whether someone's opened the door and shut it again halfway through a wash. Absolutely no idea. Or did I actually press start? Absolutely no idea, because in its wisdom, Bosch have decided that this dishwasher will not tell you when it's finished at all. Our last dishwasher obviously had 7-segment displays with a countdown of the time, which was really useful. So you'd end up with a 0 to tell you it had finished. 1 0, that's 6 segments, say 5 milliamps a segment. So say 30 milliamps. That's not very much, is it really? But then I suppose once you're into this sort of zealotry about cutting everything from a machine, you think, well, someone might go on holiday, they might move abroad. Just imagine that, 30 milliamps being used for weeks, months, no, years. How awful. We could save all the risk of that by not telling the customer when the dishwasher has finished. And of course, the whole reason for not having any sort of current or electricity used once it had finished its cycle is completely negated because it doesn't have a proper clicking on and off switch. So the circuitry that runs everything, that's waiting, sensing when you press the on button, is using electricity all the time, whether it's washing or not. It's on all the time. I'm sure it's got a very low quiescent current, but you know, if you're still watching, well done, congratulations. Do let me know if you'd like more of these rants, because believe you me, I have lots of time and enjoy coming up with rants while walking the dog. Thanks again. Hope to see you next time, where we're doing some sort of steampunk stuff rather than talking about white goods. Thanks again. It's very strange, but my wife collects jam jars and used jars. I collect cardboard boxes. My wife collects jars, which I have to scrape the labels off, put through the dishwasher, and then for some reason they end up there. Oh, I don't like clutter.